I'm Bruce Marshall, and this is a Marshall Minute Brampton Now update as of June 7th, 2020. This is a COVID-19 special report, a roundup of the past week of coronavirus-specific information for Brampton. Coming up, young people are a problem. They're coming up with our biggest COVID-19 numbers. We continue to see a disturbingly high number of irresponsible actions like parties or use of closed recreation facilities. The mayor talks about that coming up. Masks will be mandatory on Brampton Transit as of July 2nd. Details on that and more coming up in this Brampton Now update. Here's what's happening on the home front in Brampton. There's been a huge spike in young people testing positive, thereby not following the rules. We continue to have a disturbingly high number of people not following rules. And that's fine. That's fine. There's an idiot tax for that. Mayor Brown.
We continue to be challenged in Brampton and Peel region with the virus continuing to spread in our community. Our bylaw officers continue to do their best to spread the word of public health and do our best to enforce physical distancing. In the last week, we've seen 56 charges laid between May 26th and June 1st. This past week, we've received 179 complaints, which were received for residential social gatherings. Please understand this is not the time for social gatherings. 27 charges were laid. 19 charges were related to parties in people's backyards, 2 charges for using equipment in our parks that are still closed, and 9 charges relating to playing cricket. This is not the time for team sports. I have to stress this, we must listen to the advice of public health. I continue to be alarmed that when you look at the positive cases, we have a high number of young people between the ages of 20 and 29 testing positive. You may not appreciate the severity of this virus, but you are spreading it in our community. You're putting loved ones, parents, grandparents at risk, and this reckless behavior must stop. If the financial penalty of these fines isn't significant enough, you must recognize you're putting your loved ones, their lives at risk.
We will also see masks become mandatory on Brampton Transit from July 2nd. Once again, the mayor.
So following on the recommendations of public health on how critical wearing a mask is, I know Dr. Lowe has said again and again how strongly he recommends wearing a mask on public transit, that we are going one step further and saying and giving notice today that we will be transitioning to making masks mandatory on all public transit in Brampton. This will be effective July 2nd.
The region's medical officer of health had this to say on the stats.
Our goal has always been and continues to be 0 new cases a day. 0 new cases a day. And in March, we took the first steps to get that under control. Brampton and Peel stepped up. Our hospitals went into overdrive. Public health doggedly tracked down the cases and contacts of every positive case reported to us. And you all stood up and stayed home. And by doing this, we flattened the curve. You have heard me speak of the fronts of the battle in the months since, in the community, and then into our senior settings. As it passed through, COVID-19 has taken a toll on lives, especially on our seniors, and on our well-being, with many of us staying home to stop the spread. In seeing the growing crisis in the United States, we also remember that many racialized communities have also borne the brunt of this disease, and that is on top of the structural challenges that they face every day to their health and well-being. And that becomes even more important as the front in the community comes back into focus with restrictions being lifted. We cannot forget what we are dealing with here. We may worry about a second wave, but we're not even done with our first, which is why we all need to continue to pitch in to get down to 0 new cases a day.
And again, Dr. Lowe with the basics.
We need Bramptonians to do their part. Get tested and stay home if you are not feeling well. Wash your hands regularly. Stay 2 meters apart when you're out and about in public. Stay away from crowds and wear a non-medical mask in spaces where you cannot distance. Ensure that it is worn properly and is covering your nose and your mouth. We need everyone to do this consistently so that we can turn the tide.
From the local angle to the global perspective, there's a lot of information out there. How do you sift through it and see what's valid? Here's something from the World Health Organization on just that. Street racing has been an increasing problem with little traffic on the road, and Peel Regional Police have been dealing with that with Project Erase. Here's the chief of Peel Regional Police.
One of the programs I'd like to highlight, which Mayor Brown referred to, is Project Erase. Erase is an acronym for Eliminating Street Racing on Streets Everywhere, and it is one that's done with multi-agencies right across the GTA, inclusive of the OPP, Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Environment, and our neighboring police agencies. In the last week, an 8-day period, Peel Regional Police received 66 street racing calls from the public. During that period of time, we also ensured that we had concurrent enforcement of street racing, which resulted in 855 vehicles being investigated for street racing complaints. The outcome of that was 18 criminal charges, 9 motor vehicles seized in a 1-week period and impounded, as well as 280 traffic tickets issued.
Councillor Michael 𝗕𝗿𝗁𝗍 is co-chair of the Brampton Economic Recovery Task Force. Here's 𝗕𝗿𝗁𝗍 with information on some of the city's programs for businesses.
There's a couple great initiatives that the City of Brampton is undertaking. One happens to be Invest Brampton. Invest Brampton is a source for business entrepreneurs, for foreign investors, local businesses, to use the tool that the City of Brampton has provided for them to have more capabilities of investing and working and doing business in Brampton. We have a full chat capability built into every page of Invest Brampton. We have direct access to investment centers, services, and additionally the site selection interactive tool as well. Some other key focuses that the City of Brampton is doing on towards our recovery is business retention. Our Support Local campaign has been a hit, and we've also joined forces with ShopHERE, the ShopHERE program, helping local businesses and artists develop online tools and storefronts completely free of charge. One of the other initiatives is our tourism strategy. So we know that local tourism, regional tourism will contribute significantly to our economic recovery. And I invite everybody to experience Brampton on the city's website.
Find out more at brampton.ca. A reminder once again that large garbage items like furniture and appliances are not being picked up on garbage days right now. However, you can put 2 extra bags out right now without tags. A reminder, too, that charity donation boxes are not accepting donations right now. Please hang on to those items. All the details at the link for garbage and recycling in the comments. Hand washing remains the #1 thing we need to do often to prevent the spread of COVID-19. What about masks? Wash your hands. What about gloves? Wash your hands. Even Peppa Pig has got this down now.
Wash your hands for at least 40 seconds.
Wash, wash, wash your hands. Wash them nice and clean. Bubbly, scrubbly, scrubbly, bubbly. Wash them nice and clean.
Remember to wash your hands.
It seems now that each week there's another announcement of a huge donation that puts our food bank shelves back to almost full. And this week, the Sadhguru Mata Sudhiksha Ji Maharaja Center came through with a cargo truck full of food for Regen. If there's any way that you can help the food banks, from individual donations to running a food drive or arranging a big donation like this one from these generous neighbors, please go to the food program links in the comments. John Ishmael is one of the driving forces in Brampton to make sure that nobody goes hungry. He does this through Food Secure Communities, who promote raised organic vegetable gardens. The program raises organic produce, and everything from a portion to all of the product goes to food programs. One of these raised boxes is at the CUPE 831 office in Brampton, and there's such good gardeners there that they had 12 whole plants stolen, roots and all. Anyway, Ish is one of the people fighting to be sure that everyone has a meal in Brampton, and you can find him at foodsecurecommunities.org. And if you know somebody who's all of a sudden come up with 12 tomato plants, you might know where they came from.
Food is life. For some in Brampton, food may be scarce during this crisis. Regeneration Brampton and Knight's Table are on the front lines of helping the vulnerable. Donations of food or money help them help those who need it the most. This is a challenge for everyone. Imagine if you also had to find food. Visit regenbrampton.com or knightstable.org to see how you can help.
At the City of Brampton, June is proclaimed as Filipino Heritage Month, Italian Heritage Month, and Portuguese Heritage Month in Brampton. In lieu of the regular flag raising, Mayor Brown will release a video on the city's YouTube channels on the various days. Now, I gotta say, one of the ways that I love to explore culture is through food. Yeah, surprised? And it's a shame that we won't be having these community get-togethers this year, but here's a suggestion. We have some wonderful Filipino, Italian, and Portuguese restaurants with takeout. Find one of those in your part of Brampton and make it a favorite to celebrate the Filipino, Italian, and Portuguese community. The City of Brampton will celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day on June 21st online. There'll be kids' activities, cooking traditional recipes, watching videos, and according to the city's release, an opening prayer, remarks from Mayor Patrick Brown, a presentation from Indigenous scholar Jessie Thistle, author of From the Ashes, just burning up the bestseller charts right now, and a friend of mine. Traditional performances, music from Twin Flames Band, and a closing prayer. This digital event is organized in partnership with the Indigenous Network. National Indigenous Peoples Day, June 21st, is celebrated at brampton.ca from 11 a.m. on that Sunday. Here's what it looked like in previous years. Mayors Patrick Brown and Bonnie Crombie co-penned a Toronto Star editorial last week advocating for body cameras for frontline police in Peel Region. Say the two mayors, quote, "Body-worn cameras improve transparency, improve civility, lead to quicker resolutions, corroborate evidence, and provide training opportunities to police agencies on de-escalation tactics and how to deal with people experiencing mental health crisis." As I record this, news is emerging that it is expected that the Premier will announce the second stage of reopening of Ontario in the next few days. At the same time, Dr. Tam, the Federal Medical Officer of Health, urged caution to prevent a second explosion of COVID-19. And as this went to tape, MP Sonia Sidhu announced Air India flights are now available to be booked to bring Canadians stuck in India back home. Go to airindia.com to book flights. Please subscribe to the Brampton Now Update channel on YouTube for lots of Brampton-specific content and as much of that vital, essential, and factual local information that I can find for Brampton. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you want. Stay strong, Brampton. Brampton strong. And Brampton proud. We're all in this together. I'm Bruce Marshall. Thanks for watching.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.